Here's why Aegon too felt betrayed when Rhaenyra took King's Landing. When the Iron Throne changes hands in House of the Dragon, it's never through peace, it's through fire, betrayal, and blood. For Aegon II Targaryen, the moment his half-sister Rhaenyra seized King's Landing was not just a political loss. It was personal. To him, it wasn't only the fall of a city, it was the shattering of his pride, his purpose, and the illusion that he was ever truly king. But what made that moment sting even more was the betrayal. The betrayal not just by soldiers or lords, but by the very people Aegon trusted, his council, his blood, and his own people within the Red Keep. When Rhaenyra entered the capital as queen, Aegon wasn't just dethroned. He was humiliated. This is the story of why Aegon too felt betrayed when Rhaenyra took King's Landing, a tale of pride, paranoia, and the painful realization that even a dragon can fall from the sky when surrounded by vipers. From the very beginning, Aegon's kingship was built on shaky ground. He didn't earn the throne, he was placed on it. His mother, Queen Alicent, and grandfather, Otto Hightower, orchestrated everything after King Viserys' death. They twisted the king's final, confused words into a prophecy that favored Aegon's claim. While Rhaenyra had been publicly named Viserys' heir for years, the Greens seized their moment, crowned Aegon in haste, and called it destiny. But in truth, Aegon never wanted the crown. He was a reluctant king, driven more by manipulation than ambition. When the crown was first placed on his head, Aegon's hands trembled. He wasn't thinking of legacy or duty, he was thinking of survival. He knew his sister would never accept his rule quietly. He knew this, honor, was the beginning of war. Yet, as time passed, something inside Aegon changed. The taste of power, the cheers of the crowd, the weight of the crown, began to seduce him. The boy who once hid from his destiny now believed he was chosen by the gods. And once he accepted that belief, anyone who challenged him became an enemy, even his own family. So when Rhaenyra's forces finally reached King's Landing, Aegon didn't just see an invading army. He saw betrayal, from within and without. Before Rhaenyra's victory, King's Landing was a city divided. Whispers filled the taverns. Merchants, commoners, and even members of the City Watch began to question Aegon's rule. Taxes were rising, fear was spreading, and rumors claimed Rhaenyra would soon march on the capital with dragonfire at her command. Still, Aegon believed the small folk would remain loyal to him. After all, he was their king, the one who walked among them, who hosted grand feasts, who promised prosperity. But when word spread that Rhaenyra had landed at Dragonstone and gained the support of powerful lords, Curlys Velaryon, Rhaenys, the Riverlords, Aegon's confidence began to crack. Otto Hightower, ever the strategist, advised caution. "We must secure the city," he told Aegon. "Prepare for siege. Reinforce loyalty with rewards, not fear." But Aegon was impulsive. He refused to believe that his reign could end so soon. "The people love me," he said with arrogance. "They will never bow to her." He was wrong. When Rhaenyra's forces began their march, chaos erupted in King's Landing. Rumors of dragons heading for the city sent waves of panic through the streets. People began tearing down green banners and replacing them with black ones. Merchants locked their shops. Nobles fled the capital under the cover of night. And worst of all, Aegon's own men began to abandon him. The City Watch, once loyal to him, started turning on their commanders. Many of them had been bought or persuaded by Rhaenyra's envoys, promising amnesty and gold. Even Lord Larys Strong, Aegon's supposed ally and whisper master, had gone silent. The young king could feel the walls closing in. When he demanded answers, his mother Alicent could offer none. "They do not love you as they once did," she admitted softly. "They never loved me," Aegon hissed, "they loved what I could give them." And perhaps that was the moment the truth struck him, that his throne was never secure, not even on the day of his coronation. It was held together by lies, fear, and the false promises whispered by men who saw him as a pawn. As Rhaenyra's dragons approached, Aegon's paranoia deepened. He began to see betrayal everywhere, in the eyes of his counselors, in the whispers of his guards, even in his own mother's silence. He accused Otto of plotting to surrender. He accused Ser Criston Cole, his Lord Commander, of cowardice. His trust, already fragile, shattered completely when he realized that even those who once fought for him were now preparing for escape. When Daemon Targaryen took Harrenhal and Rhaenyra's forces stormed the Crownlands, Aegon knew what was coming next. And instead of preparing to fight, his court began to vanish. Lords he'd knighted fled, advisors he'd promoted slipped away into the night. By the time Rhaenyra reached the city's walls, the once mighty Green Council had all but disintegrated. The betrayal that cut deepest came from the small folk. The same people who once cheered when he was crowned in the Dragon Pit now opened the gates for Rhaenyra. They welcomed her as the realm's delight, the true heir of Viserys. To Aegon, this wasn't just rebellion. It was treason. It was a dagger in the heart of his fragile ego. When word reached him that the people had begun chanting Rhaenyra's name in the streets, Aegon flew into a rage. "They are mine," he shouted, throwing his goblet across the room. "I fed them, protected them, ruled them. And now they bow to her." Alicent tried to calm him, but his fury was volcanic. He could not comprehend how quickly loyalty had turned to hatred. And deep down, a darker thought crept in: maybe they never truly respected him. Maybe they only tolerated him because of his dragons, his title, his power. Without those, he was nothing. That thought haunted him. He realized that the people loved Rhaenyra because she inspired them. She represented justice, legacy, and strength. But Aegon represented corruption, fear, and decadence. Even his younger brother, Aemond, saw it. "The people do not follow weak kings," Aemond said coldly. "They follow conquerors." Aegon's jaw tightened. "And what am I?" Aemond stared at him. "A pretender." Those words struck deeper than dragonfire. When Rhaenyra finally entered King's Landing, the sight of her banners flying over the Red Keep broke what little remained of Aegon's pride. He had been smuggled out by Sir Criston Cole, forced to flee his own capital like a thief in the night. The city that had once crowned him now cheered for his downfall. From a distant hill overlooking the burning skyline, Aegon watched as Rhaenyra's procession passed through the city gates. The bells tolled in her honor. "She's stolen everything," he whispered bitterly. But deep down, he knew that wasn't true. Rhaenyra hadn't stolen his throne. He'd lost it long before. He'd lost it the moment he stopped ruling and started reacting. The moment he became his grandfather's puppet. The moment he let others speak for him while he drowned his fears in wine and whores. Still, in his twisted mind, it all felt like betrayal. Everyone had failed him. His council, his soldiers, his people, even his own blood. And as Rhaenyra sat upon the Iron Throne, Aegon's hatred began to take shape, a hatred that would define the final, brutal act of his reign. Aegon's exile from the city was not long, but it was filled with venom. As he hid in the Crownlands, nursing his wounds and plotting revenge, he became obsessed with reclaiming his throne. Every night, he replayed the moment Rhaenyra entered the Red Keep in his mind. Her calm composure, the way the crowd adored her, the ease with which she claimed what he believed was his. "She betrayed me," he muttered over and over. "She betrayed father's legacy. She betrayed our blood." But in truth, what Aegon couldn't admit, even to himself, was that he had betrayed his family first. By taking the throne meant for Rhaenyra, by plunging the realm into war, by killing his own kin in his quest for validation, Aegon had set the stage for his own downfall. Yet denial was easier than guilt. And so, he convinced himself